Did you know that the census is due this year on April 1st? And guess what? This time we can finally count as Caribbean. This year, all you have to do is 1. Check the race box, and 2. Write in your country of birth or ancestry. You can answer by the paper form, online, or by phone. Everybody counts in Census 2020. So count as Caribbean. Yes, we count.
What's up, Ridealong? Welcome to the ride. Welcome to Tuesday inside of the ride. As you're coming, go ahead, guys, and share up the thing, And you know the keyword is I share. Hello, Andrea. How you doing? The keyword is I share. The keyword is I share. So as you come in, share up the thing and say the keyword I share. We put you up on the screen. Yeah? Family and friends. Share up the thing, Let me share it up as well on my end. Let me make everybody know that we're on live. Andrea! You're the first today, Andrea. Big up yourself. Thank you so much for coming in. Thank you so much for sharing. Guys, don't forget the keyword is I share, right? I share is the keyword. Start a watch party. I'm starting a watch party and wine. Kibbs! Hola, Kibbs. How you doing? Big up yourself, Kibbs. Hope you're doing well. Gail Charles. Hello, Gail Charles. How you doing? I share. Listen. I ain't playing no games. I want all you to share up the thing, put it on your page and say I share. That's what we're looking for. I share is the keyword. And while you're at it, press like and press love. Press like and press love. In fact, if you're happy to be alive, in this COVID-19 pandemic, you gotta press something. Press love, press thumbs up, whatever. You have to show your happiness, You have to show your appreciation, Happy to be alive. It's COVID-19 and we're still here. We're beating COVID-19. All right? Yes, I see you. Hi, how you doing, Jesse? Jesse Andal. Hey, Jesse, how you doing? Hope everything worked out well. Who else? Rochelle Cummins. Big up yourself, Rochelle Cummins. Spice Babe Duncan. Thank you so much, Spice Babe Duncan, for locking it down. Thank you so much. I have 2 more pages that I need to start a watch party on. Let me do that right now. Right here. Spice Baffy, how you doing? You share? Thank you, Spice Baffy. Thank you for sharing. We appreciate you. Juliet Forrester, thank you so much for sharing. I appreciate you as well. Really appreciate you. Madonna Garrick, thank you so much. Padita, thank you so much. Padita, thank you for sharing. Lacey J, how you doing? I was just about to say, well, Lacey J, Dread. Wendy Mary Show, I see you tag me. How you doing, Wendy Mary Show? Hope you're having a great day. Guys, let me tell you. So today, I want to dive into this topic. This topic here. Because as it stands right now, right? We're still in the middle of this pandemic. People are still dying. COVID-19 is still ranting and raving all over the world, taking a lot of lives. Thousands of people being contracted. Just in Brazil, there is thousands of people. It's like Brazil ain't even flattened the curve yet. Here in New York, we possibly have flattened the curve. In the Caribbean, in Grenada in particular, there's 0 cases. But as I said very early, I don't want anybody to become complacent about this, right? Because the COVID-19 is probably not in your area, that doesn't mean that it's eradicated around the world. It's still there, it's just not in your area at this moment. But there's always a seesaw effect, because in any kind of bad pendulum shift, it's coming right back. And a second wave is people talking about the second wave. So my next guest on the program here today, which I'm going to bring on shortly, he did a video yesterday, which got a lot of shares. People put it in my inbox, because this brother had to face 2 terrible things in his life at the same time. One, the death of his mother. And it's sad. I've seen so many funerals, so I know how it feels like to lose someone in these times. The second issue that he had to face, at this point in time, is not being able to go down to his land of birth to bury his mother. And he had to deal with it. So he did this video now explaining what happened. So I brought him on the program to give us some full disclosure as to where the disconnect is, where the misunderstanding is, because as we know, from July 1st, the ports in Grenada is going to be open to international flight, right? That's what they're saying right now. So we're going to hear from him. His name is Vikas, and he will be joining us very shortly to tell us his story. And before anybody book their next flight to go into Grenada, you guys have to watch this program. You guys have to hear the story. All right? All right? Hey, Dr. Z, how are you doing? Thank you so much, Dr. Z. We appreciate you. We appreciate you so much. Thank you. Deborah James Roberts. Deborah James Roberts, where have you been? Where have you been? Where have you been? Where have you been, Deborah James Roberts? Thank you so much. All right. So, guys, let me introduce my next guest on the program here today. As I said, he did a video yesterday elaborating on this story, and I think everyone should hear it. Guys, his name is Vikas, and I hope I'm saying his name right. His name is Vikas, and he's live with us. Vikas, welcome to the ride, my brother. How you doing?
Doing?
I'm good. It was just 5 minutes ago I realized that we know each other very well. I didn't even notice. We actually live like a couple houses away from each other back in Grenada.
Yes.
It's a
small world, huh?
World.
Yeah.
First of all, because I gotta say condolences on the passing of your mother. I understand how it would feel in a time like this, and you're going through this. So, condolences to you and the family for the passing of your mom and all that you're going through. But I want to get a full understanding, full disclosure as to where the breakdown of communication, where the misunderstanding occurred, so that others may not have the same problem as you had recently. So let's start from the beginning, because tell us a little bit about yourself before we start talking about what the situation was. Tell us a little bit about Vikas.
Okay, so my name is Vikas. Welcome all my viewers. I have a lot of friends on Facebook and back in Grenada. I'm from Balthazar in St. Andrews. I was born in Union, St. Andrews. So I'm a country boy. Migrated to the United States in '99. So I've been up here over 20 years now. I'm in the United States Army, and my mother is Veronica Charles Tanka, or everybody know her in Grenada. She from Union, St. Andrews, the Blackett family. That's our background. The Blackett, John, Louis, Charles. That's Tanya's family from St. John. That's our. We have it's a big family. So I'm just here to tell my story and educate people a little bit on what is going on and what you should know before you try to go to Grenada. There's a lot of information that we don't have and we need to know about.
Okay, good. So start from the beginning. Don't leave out anything. How this whole thing started for you? So you went to Grenada back in February. Let's start from that point, from February when you initially went down to Grenada.
Okay, so I came down in Grenada in February for a wedding. Brought my mom down because she wanted to come down and visit, the rest of the family or the rest of the siblings and stuff. So she stayed down. I came back because, I got to come back for work and stuff like that. So I left her down there. Shortly after I came back, a week or 2 weeks, she was good. And then she just took in sick a little bit and just passed away. I mean, without a shadow of, she was gone. So right when that happened, the COVID-19 hit. So I'm back here. She's in Grenada, passed away, and I mean, there was nothing really that I could have done at that time because, everything was shut down. So, I hold it out. The funeral, Lacroix had the body. He told me he's going to hold the body for me. And, and just because of what's going on, he's not going to charge me anything. He's going to do it as, something, genuine and stuff like that. So all this happened, just holding out. Then I heard the release that they're going to open the airport on the 1st of July. So, I decided, okay, they open on the 1st. I'm going to come on the 8th and bury my mother and come back, have a 10 days off for my job, and so I saw there was a press release that came out for there was a flight that came in on the 19th. So I saw a press release for that flight. So I call around asking what's going on, and they say that's the same press release was going to be the protocol for when they open the airport. So I was about to buy my ticket, but I know how things change in Grenada, and people put out information, but what they put out is that's not what they really want to say. So I
Right.
call the Ministry of Health on a Monday morning. Before I buy my ticket, I called the Ministry of Health and I spoke to a doctor. I don't want to put people's name out there.
Right. Now,
So I'm gonna just say a doctor.
before we go on to there, hold on one second. What was when you read the press release or the protocol? What did you understand from the protocol?
Okay, so I understand there the flight that was coming in. First of all, you have to submit a COVID-19 test to the embassy in DC, because they coordinate with the government of Grenada or the airport, to show that you have a test, that you COVID free. When you come to Grenada, they're gonna test you on the airport, like a temperature, and then they're gonna quarantine you for 48 hours. Which after that they're gonna do a test again, which is gonna cost $200. So everybody have to pay $200 for a test. That's what I understand. They're gonna put you in a hotel of their choice, and I think you get 3 meals, which costs you like $90 for the 3 meals for 48 hours, and then they're gonna release you, and you're gonna be like you have restrictions, like you're gonna
Right.
release you to your family, but you're gonna have that restriction. You're gonna be monitored by health personnel until after 14 days.
Right. So let me ask
So
you a question. Is this the press release that or the protocol that you saw?
yes,
The exact protocol. All right.
yes,
Just for
the exact protocol that I saw.
information sake, let me go through this particular protocol. Is a protocol for the repatriation of nationals stranded in the United States due to COVID-19. This particular protocol was sent out in regards to, in my understanding, and might be specific to the Friday, June 19, 2020 flight, JetBlue flight 8101 that depart from JFK at 8 a.m. and arrive in Grenada at 1:05 p.m. Specifically, and I'm going to read the top end of this protocol that was listed, that was sent out. This particular protocol says here that the Embassy of Grenada, collaborating with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, had organized a flight to repatriate Grenadian nationals stranded in the United States. It is making a book. It is booking this. I'm sorry. It's making a book on a flight. You are agreeing to comply with the regulation outlined in this document. Here are some of the regulations. All passengers must be PCR tested prior to departure. Test result must be submitted to the embassy. Everyone who has made a reservation but has not submitted a result by 8 a.m. the night before the flight would be removed from the flight. All passengers would be quarantined upon arrival for a minimum of 48 hours, and passengers will be required to bear the cost of the quarantine. A list of government-approved hotel apartment will be provided to you. A 2-night reservations must be made before you arrive in Grenada. You must reserve. Your reservation detail must be provided upon arrival at the MBIA. That was the extent of what you read in the protocol, correct?
Yeah.
So
Yes, that's correct.
was that okay? So you are going to be, you are basically going to be quarantined for 48 hours based on what was said here
Yeah.
in this protocol.
Yes.
Okay, so take it from there. So that's what you're understanding. What happened next?
So yes, and that is fine. That's I think this is good. That's a good way to somebody come up with anything in 48 hours is good. But but I called Grenada to find out exactly what's going on, because I'm the kind of person, they say trust but verify. So I
Right.
called to verify the information, and I was told, I spoke to the gentleman. I say, I'm coming to Grenada on the 1st of the 8th of July, when the airport is opening on the 1st, and I'm coming for 9 days, to bury my mother, and then I'm gonna head back and everything. I'm gonna come with a test. You could test me when you get there again, whatever the protocol is. And he responded to me, well, oh, you're gonna quarantine for 14 days, right? So I'll be like, Excuse me. So he repeated again. He said,
Mm.
"You're gonna quarantine for 14 days with a little laugh or a smirk." So I'd be like, "What you mean by that? What the protocol is 48 hours? What's going on?" So he
Right.
replied to me that the flight that came in from New York on the 19th, it was so crazy, and they didn't have the capacity to service that flight, and with all the COVID-19 and everything was so crazy, so they changed the protocol to 14 days. So I
Right.
say,
But hold up.
okay.
Let's back up a little bit again, right?
Mhm.
Let's back up a little bit again,
Yeah.
and again, we want to go by the wording. We want to go our full understanding. I could understand when anyone reading this would think that they will be quarantined for 48 up to 48 hours, but a
Mhm.
wording in there that I see quarantine up to a minimum of 48 hours. So that doesn't
Yes.
mean 48 hours. Essentially, it means that you could be quarantined for 48 hours to 72 hours or 14 days because we don't know the
Eh,
specifics of it.
Specific,
Right.
exactly, and I
So it's not
understand
outlined on this protocol here as to
that.
how long that someone would be quarantined for. But it could lead someone to understand that, yes, you're quarantined for 2 days.
Exactly, and that is my point. My point is, if you're putting out information, you need to put out information so people could read it and understand it. You see, for me, that's why I question it, because there was nothing specific in the protocol that it put out. So this is the reason why I start questioning it, because they're not saying exactly what they're gonna do. They just put out a whole bunch of information. And you as well know, as people, when you read something and you see the first thing you see, you stop reading, and people
Right.
just walk away with the first set of information they get. So that what got me kind of worried. That's why I called to find out exactly what is going on. But I
Right.
was told that the protocol was changed to 14 days regardless. It's not a 48 hours leading up to 14 days. I was told regardless, you come to Grenada, they're going to quarantine you for 14 days, whether or not you have the coronavirus or not.
Right.
And this is kind of misleading, because remember, people buying tickets to come to Grenada thinking, okay, if I have no coronavirus, it's likely I'm gonna quarantine for 48 hours and I'm gonna get released. Now you buy a ticket and you come to Grenada and thinking that way, and when you get there, now you have to stay in a hotel for 14 days. Who is paying the bill for 14 days? Think about it.
Right.
People been in the US, Grenadians national been in the US for over 6 months. Some of them. They're not working, they don't have a job back home. They're stranded for money. The only thing they could afford is to buy a ticket to come home. So who is footing the bill? What are we going to do with these people that coming home and they can't afford to pay for a hotel? Are we going to tell them that they can't come back to Grenada because they can't pay for a hotel for 14 days? Are we going to hold them hostage until some family member could pay the bill for them? That is the confusion right there. There's
Yeah.
no clear guidance or clear, information of what the government of Grenada is doing and what they're going to do. They just throw things out there and they get people confused and upset, and then nobody comes and clarify it. So I know, like I say, I know they look at that video and they see the video that I put out, and people is going crazy. As a minister of somebody should come on the radio and clear it up today. Nobody comes out, because know why? Because they don't have no clear guidance. They don't know what is going on. They are confused just like me, and that's the only thing I could get from it. And I know I'm speaking on the behalf of a lot of people, because a lot of people is confused. I have friends in New York right now, and they're confused. They're upset and confused because they can't get a clear direction from the Grenada government. And it's time that we stop doing things like that. If you're going to open your international border to bring to for tourism and stuff like that, you need to have clear guidance, because it's just not Grenadians that is coming back. You have foreigners going to come down too for
Hmm.
5 days, 10 days. So everybody that comes, what you're going to do? Hold them hostage for 14 days, even though you test them and test them again and make them pay $200 for a test, and tell them that they're COVID free, but you're gonna keep them quarantined for 14 days. Where is the where do the buck stop? Where do we
Right.
stop? What is the guidance?
Yeah.
Something got to be done. Somebody need to have a clear guidance for people that coming home, and that is my frustration. I just want to come home and bury my mother. The military give me 9 days to travel and come back. So you
Mhm.
telling me you're gonna hold me for 14 days? Then I'll be AWOL. Then somebody else is gonna come. in the United States Army going to be looking for me. You can't do things like that. You got to give people clear guidance of what's going on and what you're doing. You can't change the protocol in the middle of the night and not put it out, and somebody got a call to find out, and still you ain't put out nothing.
Right.
And that is my
No,
frustration.
no, we understand. I definitely understand the frustration. Let me just bring folks up to speed. If you just came in and just started to watch, we're speaking here with Vikas. He has a very unique situation. It's probably not unique. It's probably happening to a lot of people, but his situation is compounded by the fact that he now is going through the process of mourning at the same time trying to figure out how the hell he getting back to bury, put his mother to rest. His mom died in Grenada, and he wants to go back. He's in the military. He wants to go back to bury her, as everybody would think that anybody would want to do. Now he's having some bottleneck situation. Now, the protocol that was initially put out for the folks on that June 19 flight, the wording of it, the wording of it could be kind of, it's not specific, and someone reading it
Yes.
might be not clear because it's not very specific as to what it is. For instance, if you are, or say a person that's coming to visit Grenada for a week or whatever the case might be, a foreigner, someone that just coming to experience Grenada, they would be quarantined for 14 days. Right? They will be quarantined for 14 days. It's mandatory quarantine for 14 days. If you, as a returning national, someone that live in the United States, plan to go back to Grenada, you will be quarantined for 14 days as far as what the protocol is saying. But the wording was not specific to that. So Vickers, as a lot of people probably did, read it and went ahead and said, okay, well, it sounds proper. But the thing that he did, which was at least that was good, that he made the call. As he made the call, they clarified it to him that he had to be staying a government provided quarantine for that period of time, but he don't have the time. So what happens next, right? What happens next? We're still battling because his mother, remember, his mother is still not buried. His mother is still there, and he's in this tussle right now. Because tell us about your family. How is your family dealing with this situation? The rest of your family.
Well, I mean, it's hard for everybody because like I'm like the how you call it? I'm like maybe the leader of the family. So everybody call me. Imagine my mother is in Grenada. She died in Grenada, but everybody call me in the United States for advice, what to do, what we're doing next. And it's frustrating that I have to be up here and answering questions in Grenada. Like I have to build a tomb for my mom, and everybody calling me up here to get information like what we need to do, how we're gonna pay for the material. I do everything for my mom. I'm like the person like my brothers. I have older brothers, but they come to me because my mom been living with me for over 20 years. So everybody comes to me for guidance, and it's just frustrating that I have to be in calls. I got to be paying for international calls every day and trying to figure out what's going on. And when I try to get information from the government, whatever they put out, it's not clear information. So then I have to be calling the ministry. They don't answer their phone 99% of the time, and then it's just really frustrating trying to work with staying indoors and not going out to catch COVID, and trying to come to Grenada to bury my mom, and trying to keep the family together at the same time. So it's really frustrating, and I just need some clear guidance on what is going on. How can I come and bury my mom
Right.
and leave? That's all I need, and nobody could give us any information. It's like the
So
information is there,
yeah,
but it's not been put out.
right. So I placed a call. This is someone. Well, I'll have her identify herself. Her name is Stacy Duncan. She is the host of the Hard Talk program. She was communicating with me while the program is going on. So I think it was necessary if we could have her on so she could try to clarify it for us. Stacy, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, Stacy. So you know the story. What kind of clarity could you add to this situation here? The message in the first post, it was confusing to a lot of people. Give us some clarity.
firstly, good afternoon and hello to all of the viewers and listeners. Junior, I wouldn't say it wasn't clear for everyone. There was some people who were a bit confused as to what the protocol in itself was. However, I must say that one good thing that he did was call the Ministry of Health, because we have, to be honest, received a lot of calls recently from people who want to know what the protocols are when the airport is open.
Right.
When the airport is open, the protocols that guide that section, of course, will be released. Right? As it stands right now, new protocols governing our limited state of emergency was released today. Right?
Right.
It's plastered over the GIS information, Government Information Service page for anyone wanting to find out what changes were made. So as it stands right now, the airports are closed. But what is more important to note, Junior, the part of the protocol that governs travel strictly states that any person traveling, and just give me a moment here, let me pull it up to read it. It very strictly states, and I want to read it. It says, a person who has traveled into the state of Grenada on or after the 9th day of March 2020 shall immediately place him or herself in self-isolation for no less than 14 days. Now, that is a protocol that has been used for the repatriation of the cruise ship workers. It's the same protocol that has been used for the repatriation of the locals that were stuck in the UK.
Right.
Even though they were placed in a government facility, we all know that is a hefty cost to the state. Now, the only difference in this protocol is the fact that they will be placed in a mandatory quarantine for 2 days in a facility that is identified by the government of Grenada. Right? It does not mean that they will be quarantined for only 2 days, because the regulation that you're quoting does not say that. It says a minimum of 2 days. Now, that regulation also, as far as I understand, has changed from 2 to 4 days, the mandatory quarantine, to 2 to 4 days.
Right, but has that information surfaced where people could read that, get that information? That because a lot of people are just
and they have been informed of that. The Minister of Health, along with the Minister of Tourism and members of the committee, had a press conference only last week, in the latter part of last week, and they were explaining all of these protocols as well. It was one of the topics on the table for conversation. Right? So I did hear the caller say that the protocols keep changing.
Yeah.
And I must comment on that, Junior, because
right. But let me ask you one other question. Let me ask you one other quick question. Is it possible that you could make a call straight to a phone line? Because we'll hear you better and you'll be able to hear him even for 5 minutes.
No, I'm not able
You're not able to do so. Okay, no problem. So go ahead. We'll take your audio in that way. No problem. Go ahead.
Okay, but we must understand, Junior, that the protocols will change. It's not anything that is singular to Grenada. It is something that is being done all over the world.
Right.
Because the situation is so fluid and the situation can change at any moment, the protocols as well must be fluid to suit the situation.
Right.
And that is something that we must understand. So I understand the callers, the guests' plight. Of course, I cannot relate because I am not in the position, but I can understand the plight. But he too must also understand that it is the duty of the government of Grenada to protect the lives of all citizens. Now, if we were to make that decision and say we were putting someone in quarantine for 4 days, let's go back to March 16th, where there was an individual who came in for a funeral. She may not have attended that funeral because she got sick on the day off.
Right.
But if we make that sort of decision, then we will be pushed all the way back, and we would have lost the
Yes.
But I'm also saying that he must be understanding in the fact that this issue is not just singular to Grenada. It's an international issue. And we must take it in strides and we must understand it in strides. You know, it's flexible. It can change at any time.
Right.
You know?
Okay.
What if the situation changes around the world in the next couple of weeks and we have to make a decision not to open our borders?
Right.
That is also something that we must consider.
Right.
So it must be flexible. And I would appeal to anyone who, if you don't understand something, you know, in its entirety, do like the gentleman did and call to ask for assistance. The answer that he got may not be the answer that he wanted, but it was the correct answer because they did tell him or ask him if he was prepared to quarantine for 14 days, which is the regulation that governs the entire state of emergency. So when he comes to Grenada, he must follow the protocols
Right.
in place in Grenada, in the state of Grenada. You know, so I mean, it's a very sad situation.
Right.
And his anger, it's justifiable because he wants to come back and bury his mother. But the protocols are the protocols.
Okay.
And to say that that the government doesn't know what they're doing and that they're just changing things at a whim, it's not a fair analysis because from the very beginning it has been said that the situation is fluid.
Right.
And that the protocols and information will change with it.
Okay. All right. I wish I could hear you a lot better and I get to hear you a lot better. But I thank you for that clarification in the defense of what was said. Hold on one second. Vikas, you wanted to say something?
Yes, I got a couple questions. Okay.
She can't hear you though. She can't hear you though because she's on my.
Okay. So I'm just put it out there. My thing is, okay, if you decide to open the country for international travel, we're still in the COVID era. What you think gonna happen? You think that everybody gonna come to Grenada and you're not gonna get at least one case? So my feeling that, okay, if somebody come to Grenada and they have 50 people on the flight and somebody tests positive and you test the whole 50 people on the flight and everybody came back negative but that one person, are you gonna still quarantine the 50 people on the flight for 14 days? So it feels like that's what I'm saying. There is no clear guidance. You have to lay out stuff so people could understand. Everybody don't have the same level of understanding or education. You gotta put things out so people could understand. And I understand what she's saying because everybody have to defend it. They're tough, and she got to defend the government side. That's her job. But I'm speaking for people that don't have the capacity to call the ministry and get the information like how I do. Like everybody don't think on the same level. Like say, I like to trust but verify. So that's the reason why I call, because when I read the information, it was just all over the place. Because I'm telling you, there's people that think that, okay, if I come home and they test me and I'm COVID free, after 48 hours or 72 hours, I'm going home. That's not the case. And you could say that you had a discussion and you put information out there. How much people that have the capacity to sit and watch TV and see all this the shows and whatever? You need to put things out there the same way you could sit and have a discussion. The minister or the prime minister or the person, the health person could have come on the TV on a special announcement and read it out so people could understand. But you can't just throw information out there on a piece of paper and think everybody have the same level of understanding. That is the problem. I feel like they throw information out there to confuse people, and people are confused right now. And yet for all, nobody from the government came on the TV and clarified. Everybody's seen the video and they're upset because I said something to piss them off. But yet for all, nobody came in to clarify the information that I put out there. So now everybody going back still confused, still worried, and nobody still have the right information. What is the protocol for the 1st of July when you open the country? If you open your international borders, you should have everything in place. Are your medical in place? Because there are people that have COVID-19 going to. You can't have Peter and Paul. That's what, and I'm sorry, but that's the truth. You cannot put everybody in bondage or lock everybody down for 14 days because one person or two person test positive for coronavirus on a flight. Yes, test everybody. Give them maybe an extra 2-3 days so you make sure that they're not COVID-19 spread it, have the virus. But you can't put somebody and tell them, okay, well now because somebody tests positive, we're gonna lock everybody down for 14 days.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
can't do stuff like that.
And the truth about it is
You
the
can't open your
cost.
border. Exactly. You can't open your border and say, okay, we open up the border. That's why I heard the prime minister say we got to get the tourism industry back together and things going back. And you can't hide for the next 2 years. You're gonna have to open your border, and cases gonna show up. What you need to do as a government, you need to have things in place when that show up, the person show up with coronavirus, that you could isolate them and treat them for the virus, not locking down everybody that comes. So a flight come from the US with 300 people on it. You're gonna lock 300 people for 14 days in a hotel because one person tests positive. That is foolishness.
Bish,
And
we have
and
we have
and, and the,
we have her on the line now, so we could hear her and she could hear you. Duncan, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, good. We're hearing you much better. Go ahead, Duncan. He could hear you, and you could hear him.
Okay. I was trying to follow while the caller was speaking. Firstly, let me firstly state that it's not my job to defend the government. It is my job to ensure that people have the right information. Let's start there. Secondly, we have been doing a well enough job here in Grenada. And when I say we, I'm speaking about citizens, I'm speaking about government officials and in that context. So we have been doing a well enough job here to ensure that our people, that our person, that we are kept safe, right? So let's think about that first. And I know that the caller is speaking from an emotional place. So I can understand where a lot of that aggression is coming from. However, it is very unfair to say that protocols are not in place, because our protocols are very well in place. Do I agree with you that maybe it needs to be a little bit more relatable so that the ordinary individual reading it can understand? Yes, I would agree with that. But to say that I am only speaking from a place of defense is incorrect, because we have been doing a very good job here. We have been working hard, the people along with the government, putting the policies in place, being flexible, rotating the policies to suit certain situations. And that is why I say that you cannot judge a policy a week ago, and if it changes in 2 days, you're upset, because we have to understand the fluidity of the situation. It can change at any moment. So, for example, our airports are scheduled to open next week. We don't know, or you don't know, if the protocols will come out this weekend. You do not know if the protocols or if the airport would open at all, because the information may change. And you have to prepare yourself for that, because it is not, it's not business as usual. And that is what we are forgetting. And while I know a lot of people are eager to come home, they're eager to see their families, it has been stated from the very beginning, on my program, in several press conferences and so on, that if you are coming to the state of Grenada, bet your bottom dollar that you will be quarantined for 14 days. That has never been a secret. That has never been miscommunicated. That information has never changed. It has always been for 14 days.
Duncan,
And with very good...
Let me ask you a quick question.
That is not accurate.
Okay. Vic, hold on a second. That protocol that you've seen on the screen right there, right? Was that protocol specific for that flight, or that is the protocol going forward as the airport would be open in
It is specific to that flight. It is specific to that flight, because the protocols, and I wouldn't call it protocols, I'll call it guidelines. Okay. Those guidelines were given to those people who came on the US flight on the 19th. The guidelines that were given to the people who came with the flight from the UK, they were different. The guidelines that govern the people who came or who were repatriated from the cruise ships, those were different. The only thing that remains the same is the fact that everyone knows
Right.
once you enter the state of Grenada, you will be quarantined for 14 days. So whether you quarantine at home, and I'm not saying that is what the protocol is, but I'm just saying that whether it is at home, whether it is in a government facility, whether it is 10 days in a hotel and the other 4 days at home, you will be quarantined for 14 days. Those regulations have not changed. They remain the same. I understand where the misconception is happening. When you read the document and you see 2 days of mandatory quarantine in a facility by government to ensure that proper testing is done, to ensure that nobody comes in a PCR test positive with the virus. But at the same time, it doesn't mean that after that 2 days that you would get to roam free in Grenada. That would be irresponsible, right? So the protocol, which we are all governed by, not the guidelines, but the protocol says that it is 14 days.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, so this is my thing, right? I understand what you're saying. And like you say, guidelines have to be put in place. But when you're putting out information to people, human being, you have to put out information so people could understand. That is my issue.
Well, and I agree with you. And I agree with you. I agree.
The Prime Minister, yes. So listen, the Prime Minister put out that the airport going to be open on the 1st of July.
Correct.
Okay. How come we ain't have no guideline for the 1st of July yet? It's been almost 2 weeks now. People don't wait the last day to buy a ticket to come to Grenada. People buy the ticket 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month out. So why there is no guidelines out there? Up to this time, we have 1 week left before the airport open, and still there is no guideline. So that's a question Junior just asked. Are we going by the same guidelines now?
Well,
are we going to have new guidelines?
Well, caller,
so if we're not going by the guidelines, where is the new guidelines for what's for the first? And I understand that you say things change, based on situation. So my follow-up to that question is, if somebody come to Grenada, they come with a test, they're good. You test them, they're good. What would be the reason for you to quarantine them for 14 days if you do 2 tests on that individual and they are COVID-free? What would be the reason for you to quarantine them for 14 days still?
The science, and I'll tell you why I say that. And let's be reasonable. We know that this virus acts in a very peculiar way. The incubation period is 14 days, right? That is the amount that has been given. 14 days incubation period. Let's be realistic. A person can do a PCR test that says that they're positive and 2 days later start exhibiting symptoms, because the doctor, he came, when he spoke, he said that there are viruses that behave in that way. The HIV virus is a virus that behaves similarly, right? You have to be reasonable in your thinking when it comes to COVID-19. If the protocol says, and that is a protocol that has guided the world at large, not just Grenada, it has saved a lot of lives, even here in Grenada, and that is what we are guided by. So, I mean, a lot of people here are not upset about the 14 days. I understand your position as it relates to the 14 days, and that is separate from the fact that protocols have not been given for the 1st of July, because that time will come. What if when the 1st of July?
But
what if when the 1st of July comes? Hold on.
That's confusing there, because when would the
Exactly.
protocol for the 1st of July if people buying the ticket now? Because if someone is going to Grenada and they're going for 5 days or 7 days, no one is thinking that they have to be in quarantine for 14 days, especially if they're buying the ticket now. They probably want to go for a week.
I would disagree with you, Junior. No, Junior, I would disagree, because there have been a lot of press conferences even the minister herself said that 14 days is the quarantine period. We have never communicated any
Then why
information
open up the airport?
otherwise.
So
Because there are
so why open up
Grenadians,
your international borders?
because there are
Okay,
Grenadians who
and
want
that's
to come home.
fine. Exactly. Then do the same thing you guys been doing. Get the flights and bring them home and keep the borders closed. But you can't open up your border and then say we open up our border because we're trying to bring back tourism, because we're losing, people losing their jobs, and tourism is part of that keep the country
Yeah.
running. And then you're gonna tell people that, okay, first of all, we have no guidelines because you ain't put out one yet. Second of all, people come in and they don't know what they're coming in for. They don't know what they're gonna meet. And then third of all, then they're gonna quarantine them for 14 days, but you guys not put out the information. There's
So
nothing out there
so my
saying
question
somebody
is
is COVID free and you still want to quarantine them for
so
14
my
days.
so my
Why would you
question
quarantine somebody for 14 days?
so my question to you is, what would
Mhm.
you suggest in this time that the
Look,
government of Grenada do? That's my question
look,
to you, because
this,
you're
I'm gonna
saying
get,
that if a
and this is
person
my
comes
answer.
into Grenada, you're saying if a person comes into Grenada and they test
Mhm.
negative, that the government of Grenada, Ministry of Health, should allow that person to just roam free and take that chance. Is that
That's
what
what
you
I
are
kept.
suggesting?
That's the reason why you open up your international borders. You got to bear the risk that comes with opening up your border to have people come into Grenada. That's what I was saying in the beginning. If you're gonna open up your border, you have to ready for the risk that somebody is gonna come and show up with COVID-19. Person's gonna show up with COVID-19. So if you don't have the medical thing to treat COVID-19 or the risk, you just need to bring your citizens home and just keep the border closed until you're comfortable enough to
No,
open it
no,
up.
caller. Okay, no, you're going on a whole different route
No, that
there.
is not a different. No,
No, no,
because you
no,
don't want to.
no.
You don't want to hear.
Okay,
You just asked
let
me
me
a
explain. Let me
question,
explain
and I
something to
answer
you.
you the
There,
question.
yes, but there are Grenadians. You can't say that,
Mhm.
because there are Grenadians who want to come home.
That's what I
There
said. Bring
are
them home.
Grenadians. Hold on, hold on. There are Grenadians who were stranded, who didn't get the repatriated flight, who need to come home. I mean, you have to be realistic. You have to be
Bring them
logical in your
home.
thinking. Hold on, and I'm gonna say this.
You
If
see, you
if
see,
hold on,
you're not
let me
listening to
let
what
me
I'm
let me
saying
just
Yeah,
because
say
you want to
this.
speak over me.
No, no, no. I just
yeah.
want to make a point. If you are coming to Grenada and you decide that you're coming to Grenada for 5 days, but you know that the quarantine time is 14 days, will you still book a ticket and come for 5 days? That is my question to you. Because the protocol that
But that
governs
can be
our
a
limited
question.
state of
Okay, let me
emergency.
answer that.
Yeah.
Let me answer that. You just said a while ago there is no protocol for the first when the airport is open. So you can't ask me that question when you don't have a protocol for when the airport is open. You can't go by the old stuff you have because you just said protocol change, guideline changes. So you can ask me that question. That's a question you just trying to ask me that to see if I'm gonna say something so you could have a comeback. You can't do that. You stated that there is no protocol that was been put out for when the airport open, when they
I
open
said
the
as yet.
international borders
No, no,
on the
no.
first.
Quote me
Exactly.
properly. I said as
So,
yet.
So you can't ask me
okay,
that.
so guys, let me just get programming note right here. You're watching Right Along live, and we having this discussion on the reopening of our borders. Earlier, my computer went down, but the discussion didn't stop; it continued. So I'm now on my mobile device. That's why you guys see me a little bit differently. But I'm still here. I'm still a part of it. But here is the question that I want to ask Duncan. When will
Mhm.
the protocol for July 1st be out?
Right. Well, Junior, to be honest, I cannot say because I am not in government. I'm not part of the COVID committee as much as the guests would
Exactly.
like to believe. No, no, no. As much as the guests would like to believe that my job or my duty here tonight is defend government, that is not true. My duty here is to ensure that he has the correct information. And to be honest, when I took the call, Junior, I felt
And we don't.
sympathy for the fact that the gentleman could not um come or have the appropriate time to come to bury his mother. However, the conversation has steered in a very different direction, because, and I'll be very clear, and I think that will be my last statement. The protocols in the state of Grenada as it stands right now is 14 days quarantine. That has been that way from the very beginning and it has not changed. The guidelines for the opening of the airport has not yet, and I want to stress yet, because the caller is saying that it has not been released, but it's not released as yet. We still have time.
Why?
Caller, we still have
There is
time.
no you, ma'am. Miss
Hold
Duncan,
on.
I understand
Because
you
the
have
airports
time,
are
but
opening
the
on the
people that
1st
buying
of
ticket to
July,
come don't have
it
time.
doesn't mean that everyone has to book their flight for the 1st of July because the airport is going to close on the 2nd. That's not what it means. So there is time. The 1st of July is not yet. The protocols can come out tomorrow. It can come out Friday. It can come out over the weekend. All that I am saying is the protocols in the state of Grenada as it stands is 14 days. That has not changed. No different information has been communicated as it relates to that, right? Those people who were repatriated got guidelines that they would be quarantined for whether it is 2 days or 4 days in a government facility, and then they had information as to what to do after that. When the airport is opened, different guidelines would be given. When that guidelines can be given, I cannot say because I am not in government. I'm not part of the COVID committee. But let us just be clear and let's stick to the facts and stay on the point. This has nothing to do with the health system of Grenada. This has nothing to do with government not knowing what they are doing. This has nothing to do with any of that. It is a protocol that is in Grenada, that is in the rest of the region, that is around the world. It might not be the protocol in the United States. I don't know. But that is what the protocol is here. And we must understand that because you are talking about one individual or a few individuals, maybe 100 individuals that would be coming back to Grenada. But we are thinking about the whole of Grenada when these protocols are established. Because I have a son that has asthma. And I wouldn't like for the government to become lenient because there are a few people who want to come back because they feel that they do not have the virus. And then my son is at risk, or that we are under another state of emergency and have to go back on lockdown. So these measures must be put in place. We may not all agree with them. We may not all like them, but it is what it is, and it is there for our safety.
Okay, Duncan, thank you for your input on this. I'm not sure
You're
that,
welcome.
yeah, appreciate it. I'm not sure if Vicus is completely satisfied with the fact that he still cannot
No,
come
I'm
home to
not
bury his mom.
because we have somebody that's not in government coming on here to defend the government peace. Where somebody from the government don't come on your show and defend it because I know they're seeing it. Why nobody from the government can come in there and say something? Because they have nothing to say because they are confused just like everybody else. And I understand what she's saying. You know, there's protocol that have to be followed and protocol that have to be met. But if you worry so much about one person coming in with COVID-19, why you open the app? Why you want to open your international border? Shut it down until you're comfortable enough that you could somebody come in and they have the virus that you could treat them and quarantine them and do whatever you have to do. You can't open your borders and then trying to lock 50 people down for 14 days when only one person tests positive. That don't make no sense, Junior.
Yeah.
And that's why they can't answer. That's why they ain't coming on because they can't answer that.
Right. A lot of people are saying that the rules are too strict because we still haven't touched the fact that even before you get on the airplane to Grenada, you have to be tested here before you even board.
You to be tested.
So you have to present. You have to present
and
here.
Then
you have to present your test from the United States that you are COVID free. But getting on the flight, remember you are in a queue with a host of other people, and the test is just a snapshot in time for that particular time frame. So it is on the island as well to ensure that nothing happened on the flight on the inward coming in, and the citizens are still protected. So they do additional tests. When they get there, they do additional tests again, right? And they monitor. But we might say that it's excessive. It's a lot. It's a lot of precautionary measures. Test over here, test there. Some islands you have to pay for your test. No, Antigua announced that you have to pay $100 for your test. That's besides the point. But there's a lot of precautions. The question is, will all of that, at the end of the day, will all of that prevent the COVID from coming in. Maybe yes, maybe no. But if they are so concerned, if the government, if they are so concerned about absolutely no way of treating or being infected again, then they probably should just possibly wait until that time when COVID is
Exactly.
eradicated worldwide, or there is a vaccine. That might be the alternative to the question. So I understand your point of view, and I understand your frustration.
So, and that's what I say, and I understand her too, Junior. And she want to talk the fact about, I talk about the doctors don't know what they're doing. You see, I say things to back up what I'm saying. My mom passed away in Grenada. My mom had cancer while she was in America about 6 years ago. She beat cancer. She was cancer free. And when she died in Grenada, when she came down and she got sick and they took her to the hospital, I told them her medical history and everything like that. They did all the tests on her. They say she's good. She had no cancer. They didn't see nothing. How about when she passed away, they put she died from cancer on her death certificate? So she can sit there and tell me that this doctors in Grenada is incompetent. I'm just saying it straight up. They are. Because you just write something on somebody's death certificate because you have nothing else to write. So you write whatever come up first. So she could sit there and defend them all they want. I need people from the government to come and defend themselves. That's what they need to do. Come and defend themselves and tell us exactly what they're going to do when they open up the airport. Like she said, the government have time. But think about the people that have to buy a ticket. We don't have that much time. You got to buy your ticket way out to get a ticket at a good price. If you wait a day, 2 days to buy a ticket, you're paying like 3 times the cost. So tell us what they're doing. What is the protocol? What we need to expect if we come to Grenada. So either we come or we don't. Or if you're
Right.
so scared, keep the country closed until you feel comfortable enough to open it up for international travel. Period.
No, I understand. I completely understand.
And that
And we will within the next couple of days, I'm going to be trying personally, and my team is going to be trying to get connection with someone from the COVID response team in Grenada, so they could give us some clarification, because I do believe that at the time when that the announcement was made for the July 1st date, that should be followed immediately by protocol.
exactly. That's how you do
So
business.
yes, you release the date is going to be open on July 1st. Here are the protocols going forward, because people, I know friends, personal friends of mine, who heard July 1st and they went and buy a ticket, not even knowing that they will be quarantined for 14
Yep.
days. So that is a very important fact, and probably a lapse,
In a
probably
hotel
was
at the
overlooked.
government choice.
Probably was overlooked that they should have put that out at the same time, simultaneously. This is the date, this is the protocols, just as how they did
Yep.
for the protocol that we showed earlier, as it relates to that to the flight that comes out on the
To the flight.
for the flight, right? I'm seeing okay, close include body before it shows up on the test. So program host, how long does the virus incubate in the human body before? Matthew Bowen. I'm not a medical expert, and I'm not even going to try to attempt to answer the complete science of how long it will manifest in a human body before it shows up on the test. So I really don't know. But from time to time, we do have doctors, medical professionals who could come and answer all the questions as it relates to COVID-19. And we have, and we have, and we will have other doctors that come in and answer your question. Vickers, what is your next move? What's your next plan in
Mhm.
repatriating and getting your mom buried?
Well,
What's the next plan
well,
of idea?
well. I called the ministry. I called the ministry today to see if there is some special circumstances where they could give me, like to come in, and I get tested here. Get tested for there. I follow the face mask, bury my mom, and leave. I called today. They were supposed to call me back. They take my email, my number, and I haven't received a call back from anybody. So I'm going. I called like 5 times this afternoon. Nobody answered the phone. It just ring out. I'm going to call tomorrow again because I need like some kind of special circumstances that I could come in and bury my mom. I need to come for 10 days. Like I say, I'm not coming to party or go on the beach and have a good time and nothing like that. I just need to come, bury my mother, and leave.
Yeah.
Okay, that's all I need to do. So somebody need to tell me if the government put in place special circumstances like that where people have family, the mother or the child that died, and they want to come down to bury them. There should be some kind of something in place for that. But that's what I'm saying. It's no information or a lack thereof.
Right.
So you need to put something out so people could understand that's what's going on, or if there is something like that in place, I know who to call and get information. Because I'm calling the Ministry of Health and I'm getting, okay, I'm gonna call you back, take your number, your email, we're gonna email you today. That's what I was told. We're gonna email you today, we're gonna send you out a press release. There's a new press release coming out today. We're gonna send it to you, we're gonna call you, the doctor gonna call you back, or the Minister of Health. Because I called to speak to the Minister of Health. And they say they're gonna get back to me. Haven't heard anything back from them. So I'm waiting for that call. Yeah, my number is 757-810-4330. I'm waiting on that call, but I'm gonna call tomorrow again.
Right.
And that's the kind of person I am. I'm very persistent. I'm not gonna stop calling until somebody tell me something. So either they get mad at me and block my call, I'm gonna just keep calling until somebody answer the phone. That's just how
Right.
I am. Because
Right.
I need some clear guidance what to do. Because I need to come down. I have leave from the 8th to the 18th. I already put in my leave, but I didn't buy the
Right.
ticket because I was scared because they didn't have no guidance. So I
Well,
need to know if it's okay for me to buy a ticket and come to Grenada
I guess
and not get quarantined for 14 days.
in the press conference that was recently held by the Minister of Health, they were saying that if you at this at this point, and this is the last thing I remember hearing, if you cannot come for over that period of time, then probably right about this time is not the best time, because I doubt that they'll make exceptions, for people who want to come for 5 days, or some people who say we want to come for 4 days. I'm not sure that exception will be met. So I guess the general rule that we will get back from them, hopefully they're watching, hopefully they could send me some information so we could put out there, is if you cannot come and stay for the 14 days, then at least at this point, you just probably should not come. But we're going to continue to look into it and see what's the
Junior,
best response.
How much people you know as a Grenadian, right? Living in the US and going back to Grenada all the time. How much people you know that goes to Grenada for more than 14 days? Not very much. We come for Carnival, we come for maybe 10 days and we got to come back to work. So that's what I'm saying. If you're going to do that and quarantine people for 14 days, that is not national, like Grenada national. Like for me, like I hold a US passport, I got to come back to work. If you can let somebody come in and test them twice or whatever and give them a chance to do what they have to do and leave, then just close your border and just bring in the Grenada national who's stuck wherever, and that's it. Close the border. Don't what you open it up and say open it for tourism and you ain't accepting tourists. You're not, because you're telling them come here, we're gonna lock you down for 14 days and you can leave after. Not making any sense.
Yeah, and I guess Kip said it right there. Don't come unless you can stay for more than.
So
Kip said that don't go if you can
that is my
can stay
thing.
for a month.
Close
Um,
the border, bring back
yeah. Okay.
for a month. I guess you ain't gonna have a place to stay or nothing when you get back.
Yeah.
So
I understand the situation.
tell us something. Give us some guidance so we can go
Vic,
by.
we thank you for joining us and sharing your story here. What we're gonna do, we're gonna follow up on the story. We're gonna follow up on it. I'll make a contact with someone in the ministry, someone from the COVID response team, and see if they can give us some more protocol that for people who are planning to book to come down from the 1st of July, people who have already booked to come down from the 1st of July. We're going to put all that information there. And for you, I know that you're still in confused as to what exactly your next move might be in burying your mom. I hope something happens pretty soon, because I know the stress that you're going through dealing with this both situation at the same time. It could be very, very stressful for you and your entire family. But we're just going to see what information we could put out there. And thank you for sharing the story. Any last word you want to leave it before we wrap up?
I'm just saying, thanks for all the support that I got, on my live, and I'm gonna keep pushing until I get some information, because that's just who I am. I don't take no for an answer. If you're gonna tell me no, you're gonna give me a reason why you're telling me no. So thanks everybody for everybody that turned out to listen, and we're gonna get the right information. Trust me, I promise you, I will.
Absolutely. And thanks for joining us, guys. Again, we're going to leave you right here. And I'm on my mobile phone because we have some problem with the power on my car. But we're going to follow up on this story. Also, I got to tell you guys about two things. That on Saturday, the 27th, we have our first Ride Along Bingo. We want you guys to be a part of it. Go and get your tickets. It's available right now on the website, ridealongfamily.live. We're also going to paste the link at the bottom of this particular program so you guys will go get your tickets for Thursday. It's a $1,000 jackpot game. And also on the story that we did yesterday, a follow up on that story with a young lady who was denied her passport. The issue was resolved today. She did, in fact, went in today, and sorry, she went in today, and she did get her passport, and that part of the story is resolved. But we're going to keep you guys up to date as to what's the next step going forward. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for being a part of our program today. Catch you guys again tomorrow. Peace out. Bye bye.